Hello, my name is Christina Morgan. The topic of this presentation is relational behavioral alteration techniques for the reentry classroom. Chapter 4 of the Cheeseborough and McCroskey text tells us student motives for communication with instructors vary. These motives may be relational, functional, for excuse making to participate, or for brown nosing. The reentry audience refers to individuals returning to the community from jail or prison. I will explore the relational motive as it relates to the reentry population. The 3 points that I would like to make in this presentation are regarding the behavior alteration techniques. One is communication goes both ways, and there are 3 factors which we will discuss that affects communication within the classroom. Number 2, communication orientations and styles vary, but what matters with this population, the reentry population, is learning, sharing, and healing needs to take place. Generally, there are 4 realms of services that are available to the adult reentry clients. These include treatment, whether it be mental, physical, or for drug abuse issues, education, which we are covering in part within this presentation, for job search, and life skills. The first point I will mention is communication goes both ways. In the reentry classroom, communication is an exchange where one is more vulnerable and has more to lose. This person that has more to lose being the reentry participant. In addition, Lee Cantor, over the last 15 years and in his work entitled Assertive Discipline, found that relationship building in the classroom reduces disruptive behaviors by 50%. So the question becomes, how can teachers encourage communication about goal setting and future achievement from reentry learners? The answer is behavior alteration techniques. BATS, or behavior alternation techniques, refer to communication methods instructors use to influence students. As we know and have learned, communication in a classroom goes both ways. One from instructor to student, and also from student or students to the instructor. Behavior alternation techniques are effective in getting students to have greater motivation for communicating with the instructor. In context, relational motives are related to positive use of behavior alternation techniques. When looking at the classroom in terms of motivation and behavior, one must consider at least 3 factors. 1, the teacher, 2, the student, and 3, the classroom. With regards to communication orientation and styles, which are also discussed in the text, a teacher can fall into one category while the students can fall into several different ones. However, it is a teacher's duty to manage all communication, that of himself or herself and the students, as well as the classroom environment. The key is achieving a balance between all parties where learning, sharing, and even healing can take place. Teachers also have to be adaptable as different situations call for it. Many communities have been exposed to a repeated culture of overcriminalization, overregulation, and over-incarceration. Not only is there a cycle of ramifications of this culture of incarceration, but families are broken because of criminal records, leading to barriers to employment, housing, education, and the list goes on. Key point number 3 is results are not always what you can predict. As stated before, there is recidivism. There are also several assumptions that exist, such as, does the behavior translate into positive behaviors outside of the classroom? Is using a relational approach a good process? Does everyone want to be relational for the sake of improvement or just for the sake of getting through the classroom experience and surviving? Many initiatives are available helping formerly incarcerated individuals to take courses, to find jobs, and to contribute to their communities. Managing a reentry classroom requires management and flexibility of communication behaviors, as there are several different dynamics and ranges of conduct. From one end is assertiveness, and the other is responsiveness. Reentry efforts mostly focus on avoiding recidivism or the tendency of a formerly convicted criminal to reoffend and have to return to jail. Recidivism rates are highest immediately after release. Specifically, two-thirds of convicts released from prison return to jail within the first 3 years of release from prison. The tendency for recidivism to occur early is matched by a shockingly high rate of death in the weeks or months after the individual exits prison. These individuals face very high rates of drug overdose, homicide, and suicide. The harsh reality is even though the reentry population is seeking hope, these individuals may have more connections to the street culture and jails than to the classroom and the classroom environment. The challenge becomes training reentry participants become critical thinkers with skill sets they can contribute to society. In order to shape students' motives, teachers must know what to expect and how to manage this emotional, social interactions and communication around classroom expectations and students. A lot of students will be angry about their lives, what they have experienced, and feel left behind. The challenge for the teacher becomes managing the angry student and his or her classroom behaviors. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26 says, "When angry, do not sin. Do not ever let your wrath last until the sun goes down." A lot of students will be asking, why me? And be angry at the answers they find within and around them. As an encouraging thought, the longer one holds on to anger, the more it eats away at you. If you're really not letting go, anger will slowly destroy you. So why not let the joy of the Lord be your strength? When one is upset with someone else, encourage them to ask God to show how much mercy He gives every day. A lot of students will also be tired of mandates, requirements, parole. There's also scripture for the tired student where God tells us through scripture that He will give us rest. Grief is another experience that reentry participants experience. It's what prevents them from getting on with life and procrastinate. They'll be grieving the life that they miss and the impact of their life on their family. Revelation 21 verse 4 says, "God will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more, neither shall there be anguish, nor grief, nor pain any more, for the old conditions and the former order of things have passed away." In summary, one should know as a teacher or instructor what to expect and how to manage the emotional, social, and communication communication around those classroom expectations and his or her students. Thank you so much for listening, and